Fifth lecture, called Essence of the World. First lesson. Many entertain cruel thoughts against the world with a motive or without one. They entertain cruel thoughts against these 6 classes of living beings. To him one pleasures are dear. Therefore he is near death. Because he is near death, he is far from liberation. But he who is neither near death nor far from liberation considers the life of a slow and ignorant fool as similar to a dewdrop trembling on the sharp point of the blade of kusa grass, which falls down when shaken by the wind. A fool, doing cruel acts, comes thereby ignorantly to grief. Through delusion he is born, dies, and see. Being conversant with the deliberation about this delusion, one is conversant with the samsara. Being not conversant with that deliberation, one is not conversant with the samsara. He who is clever should not seek after sexual intercourse. But having done so, it would be a second folly of the weak-minded not to own it. Repenting and excluding from the mind the begotten pleasures, one should instruct others to follow the commandment. Thus I say. 1. See. Many who desire colors are led around. Page 43. Paragraph continues, in the samsara, they experience, here again and again feelings, i.e. punishment. 1. Many live by injurious deeds against the world, they live by injurious deeds against these living beings. 2. Also the fool, suffering for his passions, delights in bad acts here, mistaking that for salvation which is none. Many heretics lead the life of a hermit in order to avoid worldly sorrows and pains. 2. Such a man has much wrath, much pride, much conceit, much greed, he delights in many works, acts frequently like a stage player or a rogue, forms many plans, gives way to his impulses, is influenced by his acts, though he pretends to be awakened, thinking that nobody will see him. Through the influence of ignorance and carelessness, the fool never knows the law. Men. Unhappy creatures, world-wise are those who, not freeing themselves from ignorance, talk about final liberation, they turn round and round in the whirlpool of births. Thus I say. 3. Footnotes. 42:1 The change of number here and in the analogous passages at the beginning of the second and third lessons is one of the grammatical irregularities in which our text abounds. 43:1 This interpretation of the scholiast can scarcely be correct. Probably the same ideas which are introduced in the last paragraph with the words, being conversant with, and see, are to be repeated here. For this passage is similar to the commencement of that in section 1, or identical if we adopt the Pathantaram. 43:2 This passage is perfectly analogous to that in the beginning of the lesson. But the scholiast explains the locatives which we have, according to his explanation in the former place, translated against the world, against these, here and in the similar passages which occur in this lecture, by, in the world, amongst these, viz. Householders. Next, Book I, Lecture 5, Lesson 2.